Well, welcome to the Sylvia Show. I am Sylvia Reindock. Thank you for joining us today. And we have a guest speaker today. This is Women's History Day today, and it's Women's History Month. And I decided the show for the whole month of March, of course. Whether I do it on Friday, which I do it usually on Friday at 1:30, even other days, or we're going to go live, we're going to pre-record. I want to celebrate women. And, we always celebrate women that we say, oh, they've made history. And I said, hey, in my head somewhere, I don't know, maybe it was me, God, said, you know what? There are a lot of women that I know that are writing their story and making her story or history. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to do that this month. And our guest speaker, she popped in my head. And I say it was me or God. And so I said, hey, would you do it? She's like, I got to move some things around, but yeah, I'll do it. And so we're going to bring her on. I normally have my little format. We talk a little bit about the weather, what's the hot topics. I'm going to get back to doing giveaways where we're going to be giving away gift cards or whatever, because we have a contest we can do where you can do a giveaway and win prizes. We're going to get back to doing that. So I want to give her as much time today as I can. And so I'm going to bring her on and just kind of hear her story and how she's making an impact in her community and in society as a woman and as a woman leader. And so that's what this month is going to be about, women and their stories. And many of us are in leadership. And that's a good thing. It took a lot of years, but I thank God for that. So let's see. I got to get back here because I am my own producer, y'all. I produce my own show. I do all the back in the back, backstage. That's what I'm trying to say. Behind the scenes things. So, but our guest speaker today is Shantae Collier Rankin. I think, as I pronounced her name correctly. And so we're going to bring her on. And all right, there she is. Hi, Shantae.
Hello there. Hello there. What a pleasure it is to be with you today. And I'm extremely humbled. God is just so good. He's always creating space, So you just let me know how much of what you want me to share, or you will continue to just be available to you and all that have tuned in for today.
Okay, well, welcome. Thank you for saying yes. And Shantae and I have a little bit of family history. At one point, her mom was married to my brother, who's now deceased. So, yeah, what would we be? You would be her daughter. You'd be my.
You'd be an aunt. You'd be an aunt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I still consider you that way.
Yeah, she's my.
You're
Yes, we
always.
are. Once your family, always family.
That's
So
it.
we have that connection. So Shantae is my niece. Yes, she is. So, but yeah, I've watched you, Shantae, over the years. And you definitely you go getter. Some of us have that title. You're a mom, grandma, wife, but most of all, you're Shantae, right?
Right, absolutely.
And that's why you. I'm looking at your accomplishments. I pulled up your Facebook, and I'm looking at Human Resources Director, and that's from November 29th to 2020. November 29th, 2021 to now. And then Chief Executive Officer, CEO, and founder of D&I Certified and Land NPR Productions to now, from July 2002 and to now. Former Director, Human Resources, former Director of Development Power, former Director. And so, Director, I'm just looking at your, and I'm like, you're a leader, right? You are, and that is in you. That's what God put in you.
Exactly. And that's the most important point. If people hear nothing else, it's what God put in me.
Yes. And there was no way
myself.
Right. And there was no way you were not going to be a leader. That's what, I'm going to say here, because you definitely a great example as a leader. And based on all that you did, again, I said you are a go-getter.
Mhm.
Hi, Teresa. We got people joining us. I don't know who this is. Three Wall. Can you see that? You can't. Let me see.
That's Pastor Walden. Yeah, Pastor
Okay.
Walden, my
So
aunt.
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put. Let's see if there's. Is that Pastor Walden?
Yes, it is. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, Pastor Walden. We have Teresa. Thank you for joining us. We have Christina. Thank you for joining us. We have Joy. So hey, girl, you brought some people in. I don't get as many people when I'm just doing the show. So, but no, it's all good. And again, you're a leader. You're. There's no way you cannot be a leader because of all that you've done and all that God put in you. And yeah, girl. So, I did have some questions, but you know what? I don't even know what I did when. Again, I'm my own producer. I got to do
All
everything.
right, I understand. I
And
completely understand.
so as us talking about women in leadership, so I'm just coming off the cuff here.
Mhm.
So I mean, your first leadership role, how did that happen? Your first leadership role, because as I just named off, you have been in many leadership roles. So how did that happen? That first leadership role?
I will definitely say again that everything I've accomplished thus far in my career and in my life has really been ordained by God.
Mhm.
And I will say that I've had the favor of God in my life because oftentimes people will tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, I've just learned about this position over here. I think you'd be perfect for. Why don't you get your resume submitted?" That continues to happen to me over and over and over again, where doors open that I never knock on, or I'm blessed to have a position or a promotion that on paper I may not be qualified for, but God
Mhm.
says because of what he's put in me that that's the door that he chooses to open for me at that time. So I can definitely tell you that the very first leadership role that I had happened because the CEO of a not-for-profit happened to be consulting with a not-for-profit that I was working with at that
Mhm.
time. I was conducting a new employee orientation for a company called HCR here in Rochester for home health aides and LPNs. And
Mhm.
the CEO of Sojourner House, Jermaine Knapp, at that time was a consultant for them. And she heard me conducting new employee orientation and hung around until I finished and we got to a break. And she asked one of my colleagues, "Who is that?" And they told her who I was. And she said, "Tell her I need her to meet me in the parking lot as soon as she's done." She essentially offered me a job to come and work for her, and that was my very first introduction into major gift fundraising. Jermaine taught me everything that I knew. She just said, "You just have such a mannerism and such a way of clearly communicating where it's real and people can tell that what you're saying is true. They're listening. You're maintaining their attention." And she says, "I need somebody like you to come and raise money for the women and the children at Sojourner House." And that was my very first true leadership role that I was able to, really learn from somebody who
Mhm.
taught me the value of relationships. And I carry that with me to this very day in everything that I do. What she shared with me was, even though you're in a position where you're looking to raise money for this program, you need to figure out what it is that these donors and these corporations are trying to do. What is it that they're trying to accomplish? So that way you're helping them to fulfill a need that they have. But at the same time, you're also helping us to find critical resources and raise dollars that we need in order to operate. And I still use that to this day in every job I've ever had since then. In my own business that I founded 22 years ago, I still use that to this day. It's not about let me try to sell you what I have, but let me talk
Mhm.
with you to be able to understand. Hello, Hunty Tina. Let me try to talk with you to try to figure out what is going to be in your best interest and how can I help you get there? Because if I can
Mhm.
help you get there, then we both win.
Hey, amen. And this is Faith Friday too, y'all. So, and Shante is also a minister,
I
right?
am. I am.
Okay, I know if you go by Reverend Minister, I'm a pastor too.
I
But
go by
before,
whatever people call me as long
yeah,
as it's not
I'm good
derogatory.
too. I'm Sylvia Reindock, pastor. But so when you God begins to open that door for you to go down that path, because He put that in you as a leader
Mhm.
already. How did you feel? Because did you feel that you were equipped enough or adequate enough. Did you like? How did you feel when you realized that? Oh, wow, I'm stepping into a role of leadership. How did you feel
I will be
as a
honest with
woman?
you because that's all I know how to be. It was a little unsettling because, I'm that person, born in a very small town. I'm from Belzoni, Mississippi, raised by my grandparents who, taught us the value of hard work to appreciate everything that we have. And, it's what I will say is that I have never been the person who desired to be up front.
Hmm.
My preference is to be in the background. I don't mind handling backstage. I don't care if I did all of the work. I don't care if I wrote the grant, got the dollars, organized the event, orchestrated, wrote all the comments and all of those pieces. My preference is to stand back and push other people forward and let them shine, because then I can cross my arms and go, yeah, we did that. We did that, right? So being propelled to the forefront just kept happening, in no matter what I tried to do, I kept being chosen to be the person to speak for the group or to represent the group or to, open up, whatever it is that was happening. And so God just kept telling me, nope, your role is not in the background. You want to be in the background, but I've equipped you to lead. I need you up front. So I had to walk into that. And it was not easy, because I would continue to try to say to someone else, oh, no, I'm good. Why don't you do it? And then they would refuse, so God would just keep saying, no, 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 you can't stop what I've ordained for your life. And as I entered
Yes.
ministry many years ago, I think it was 2007, I also didn't think that I didn't think that that's what it was. I went to my
Mhm.
bishop and first lady at that time and said, listen, something's going on. I can't sleep. There's just, so
Wow.
many things that are happening, and I'm not sure what this means. And they had me teaching Bible study at that point.
Right.
And they both just started laughing, and Bishop Amos Simmons and
Yes.
now deceased Mother Dorothy Simmons. But Mother just started laughing, and so did Bishop. They're just like, yeah, you've been teaching Bible study, but we just been sitting on the front row just laughing at you, because we're like, yeah, she don't even realize she's actually up there preaching. That's what she's really doing, because
Wow.
they knew what was in me already. And I know that at this current time, I actually do have a call for pastoralship on my life. I'm just not racing to go and do that. And I think that
Right.
anybody that runs out there saying, let me go open up my church, something's wrong. You need to slow down, because God will let us know when the correct time is. And that's one thing I don't want to do, is ever jump ahead of the move of God.
Exactly.
This
Exactly.
timing is the absolute best timing, and I can wait. I can
Yes.
definitely wait.
He knows, well, he knows what's best for us,
Mm-hmm.
when it's time. And yeah, you have to really be sensitive to his timing. I,
Mm-hmm.
I can remember when God said, hey, I want you to be a leader. And I totally denied it. And we never feel
Mm-hmm.
adequate enough.
We
We never
don't.
feel that we are equipped enough. And he began to tell a guy in our church at the time, tell her she's a leader. I said, no, I'm not. And
I
then
can relate.
another, yeah, it's like before that
Mm-hmm.
that happened, and then it was like, well, who's going to be the next president? We think it's you. I said, no, it's not. And so, and that is definitely a person that God can use to raise them up in leadership and
Mm-hmm.
let him orchestrate that path.
That's right.
And I'm again looking at your information. Oh my gosh, all the things that you've done. What an amazing path you've had, and you're still going. And that's it. A leader never stops leading,
You
no matter
can't.
what it is that
Right.
they're doing. And so how would you I guess what would be your encouraging words to another woman that, what, it's clear, it's very clear that that is what is on you. That's what God has put on you.
Mhm.
And she's like, oh no, I can't do it. Like I will, like, no way, there's no way I can do it.
Right.
What would be your advice? I mean, being that you are, girl, you just like moving and shaking. So what would be your advice to somebody that maybe even out there and they know that they know, but
Mhm.
they're like, mm-mm. What would be
Right.
your advice? Because we are hard headed.
I would say, to listen to that still voice that you're hearing that's telling you that you can do it, and that is also telling you what you should be doing. You may not think that you're ready, because I know I was like, who, me? You talking to me, right? And then just step into it. Take it one step at a time. Take it one day at a time. I will say, yes, you're going to face some opposition. You're going to face some folks that will try to, talk you down, to say to you, who do you think you are? Or what makes you think that you know enough that you can tell anybody about X, Y, and Z? But I would say just stand firm on what you know to be true in your heart, because if you have a relationship with God, number one, he is going to guide and direct you. And he's going to tell you, keep going, even when it looks like this is just not going to work, or I just don't feel like I know enough. So then, you pray about it. I mean, my prayer life is serious. And my prayers to God, I mean, I talk to him just the way I'm speaking with you right now, whatever I'm feeling, with my own personality, my own jokes. That's how I come to him, just as I am, because he knows me. He created me. And so he desires that all of us have his very best. And so the only way that we do that is to continue to be obedient, to continue to be open, because honestly, when you reached out to me, sis, I was like, I got so many meetings. I'm back to back every day, all this week. There's no way I can fit this in. But then the Spirit of the Lord is like, yes, you will. You're going to move some things around. You prioritize other things. So now this gives you an opportunity to prioritize me, because this I believe is not for me. It's not about me. It's all about him. I give him all the credit for everything that I've been able to accomplish in my life. And I desire to help other people to get to the same space of comfort in themselves and having the confidence that they can do it, because we can. And so I don't want you to listen to the naysayers. I want you to step into the greatness that is within you.
I love that. Don't listen to the naysayers. Sometimes I call that voice in my head Shanae, because she always trying to tell me that. I think I put up a video lately. Like, she always like that lying voice that comes in when it's time for you to step out and do something. And that line voice says, no, what if, and what are people going to think? And you not going to, and all that. And you just have to push past the lie.
That's right.
The lies, punch the lie in the face.
That's right.
In the fear, and say, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care if my background don't look good, my hair, all that, it's matter. Like, it's not even about that. Forward. It's about, and I went to a leadership class, and the lady said, it's for that other person that needs Shantae to step out and start that live broadcast. Because that's, I've been watching you. Yeah, I know you. I love you family, but you stepping out and doing that. I'm sure you got like that voice saying, oh, well, what about the, but this don't look, and I'm going to sound this way.
Yeah.
And then,
but you
know what? You know who you are in him and what he put in you. And so you have to kill that voice and just kick the door open and say, okay, I'm going to do it. Because if you keep listening to that lying voice, Shantae would never have accomplished all that she's accomplishing now, and she's already accomplished. And so our encouragement to other women, we all have a story, right? And this is her story this month. We're celebrating women and Women History Month, International Women History, and today is Women History Day. And so we're celebrating women, but Shantae is here to share her story, because she's still writing that story, right? Shantae, you are still. I mean, this thing with the pastor, minister, that's new, right? That's like another part of the story that been added on, right?
Within the last 3 years, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and so.
Let me know that I needed to step outside of the four walls of the church.
Yes.
People needed to hear a real right now word in a way that people could understand, because often, and not knocking churches, because I grew up in several of them. So I know how important it is to have that foundation.
Yes, girl.
It's just that sometimes things happen within those buildings that, people may not feel comfortable stepping back in, right? So God was like, listen, there is way more going on outside of the four walls that my people are out there hurting and I need somebody to talk to them. So that's how the Exalted Worship Weekly Bible Studies was launched 3 years ago, 3 years and a month ago. And I have been faithful in making sure that I stand firm with what God has called me to do in that space. And I'm grateful that God continues to have people show up. They tune in either through Zoom or through Facebook Live. And, we're able to get through some things. And it feels good to know that God would trust little old me with
Yes.
something so important, right?
Yes.
And I don't take it lightly. I definitely take it
Yes.
very serious because, like you said, you never know who's watching, you never know who's listening. But what you do know is that God's people need to hear a word. And so I don't care, I share, I'm very transparent in every situation I'm in, no matter where you find me, on my Bible study lives or, in my work life. I'm going to be the person that's going to say, I can relate to what you're talking about, because I never want a person to feel like they're on an island by themselves and nobody understands what it's like to have real life struggles, because I do. I mean, we
Yes.
all do if we're really honest with
Yes.
ourselves. But that's the only way people learn and grow, is if they can see someone that they can actually say, yes, I can relate to that person, or somebody that's willing to listen to what they're saying to give them some real life application that they can use. Don't give me all this grand lofty stuff that, only, a few people can reach, but tell me some common plain things that I can do
Yes.
today that can actually make a difference in my life. That's really what I want to know. And that's what God has called me to do.
And you know what? I was talking to my husband the other day. I said, those pictures are just a snapshot, because there's always stuff going on behind the scenes in our lives. And what you're saying about, being real and transparent with who you are, and even life happening. I know I said your mom. Well, first of all, you're Shantae, right? You're who God says you are.
Absolutely.
But we have those roles, right?
Yes.
Some of us, where
Yes.
we're wives, and
That's
I'm in my
right.
second marriage,
So am I.
and you are too, I know. And we are mamas,
That's
and
right.
now we're grandmamas,
Grandparents,
and
aunts,
so that's where real life happens. We can do this and it's beautiful and we look good and we all that stuff, but behind the scenes is real life happening. And when you want to bring those experiences to other women or people that God put you in front of, or that you encounter, you want to bring his heart.
That's right.
His heart to those people. And I love my foundation, because it was a Church of God in Christ.
Yes.
Upper Room Church of God in Christ. I love my foundation. Kojic was my foundation. The Bible study and the Friday night service and the Sunday. I love that foundation.
And all
but
I
totally agree that and even the way God is moving now, it's just like, so it's outside the walls, is where people are, and you got these platforms too. But God wants to be, he wants us to be his heart wherever we are, whether we in the workplace, whether we on a podcast, whether we out on the street, we in the stores. I have to catch myself sometime when I'm driving, because I'll make a face and I'm like, well, wait a minute. What if one day God put me in front of them, and I done made a face in the car, and they remember this pink hair. Yeah, that was a lady. She made the face, so we want to be God's heart, right? Wherever we are, and hear his heart, tune in. And so I love how you said, keeping it real. And when people need that realness, really do. And I love, I'll watch a little bit of you, because we be scrolling.
Yeah.
But I watch a little bit of you and I'm like, God putting her on a whole nother platform, right? That's when I first saw you out there on the live. I'm like, oh, he put her, look at this, putting her on a whole nother platform. And he is bringing us out of, again, we love the church. He's bringing us out of that religious type stuff. And say, let's be real. Let's just be real, And so, but you as a woman also that has your own business, I have my own business. And there are women out there that want to start their own business, because I had someone reach out to me the other day. She's like, Sylvia, what do I do here? Do I go get a DBA? I go, yeah. Well, what do I do now? So it's women out there that we can be an encouragement to, that want to start their own business. So how was that, starting your own business, when you decide, okay, I need to open my own business?
Right. So at that stage in my life, my first marriage was ending. And so, being brought up the way that I was, to make sure that you were always planning, right? And
Mhm.
still following Christ, allowing God. So what God planted in my spirit was, you keep getting all these phone calls from people like the one that you just were talking about, how I want to start a business. What do I do? So because of my background, public relations, marketing, media relations, and all of those pieces, many people would ask me to consult, and I would, free, of course, because they're friends, because they're family.
Yes.
Then it kept coming, and then it kept happening more and more and more. And I'm like, the guy's like, wait a minute, what are you doing? You know, you need another stream of income. You're about to be a single parent. So, you know, he just impressed upon me that I needed to get out there and actually begin to be paid for the talent that he planted in me. Right. So I went ahead and did that DBA, opened up that marketing firm, and started my work in the entertainment field. Jimmy
Hmm.
Highsmith Jr., I was his very first publicist, helped him to get the
Wow.
recognition that he did here locally. And I
Mhm.
did some work back then with the very first version of Divine Nature, one of the largest gospel groups here in Rochester. Then God allowed me to gain contracts with places like Stokey Farms.
Oh,
I
wow.
created their social media presence, which is, one of the reasons why they have such a big following that they do now. So lots of different towns. I had contracts with towns, had my first 6-figure contract that spanned a few years, and was able to actually hire some sub consultants. But that was all because I kept listening to God, and so, when people reach out and they initially expect you to do things free, and then you say, yes, but I'm willing to help you. I'll get you
Hmm.
started. However, my request of you is that when you get to the point where your dollars are flowing, my hope would be that you would come back and you'd shop with me when you're
Yes.
able to pay. Now, I
Hmm.
can tell you, I could probably count on 2 fingers where that actually really did happen, where they came back. But it's okay, because I know that God has actually blessed me just in all other types of ways, right? Just because of other things that have happened, and contracts that I got where people would just, same thing, meet me in a room and say, call me on Monday, I need to talk to you about something. And I mean, that's how the contract that I had with the Rochester Schools Modernization Program came about, where I was able to actually hire other people, which is truly my blessing. Is to the desire that I have is to be able to bless other people, and
Hmm.
create opportunities for other people, because that's how we all win. Again, because it's not about me. It's about how many people can I help show God's love to, because many people walk around in a state of need, and
Hmm.
they're invisible to most people, because folks
Mm.
won't, you don't want to acknowledge folks. Half the time, come on, we don't even speak to people. Let's just be real about it. We walk by
Right.
people and pretend that we don't even see people. And so that's the first thing. We've got to make sure that we let people know that we see them, that we acknowledge them, and that we care about them.
I
But
love
then we
that.
can't just say those words. We have to actually put some action behind those
Yeah.
things.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Um, that we let people know we see them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember, if anybody watching this don't know that we love God, y'all know we love God, because we're gonna
Yes.
talk about him. Um, I was thinking of the Bible, and in the Bible where it said Jesus stopped and looked at the woman like he saw her among all those people. I can't remember where it is, but
Mm-hmm.
he saw her, and even calling her by name. I think that's you. You probably a better scholar than me,
Mm-hmm.
but just like seeing people love their name to be when you say someone's name, that's
Mm-hmm.
like music
You've
to
made it
their
personal. Now
ears.
they know that you know them.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But definitely what you said is what you're saying about um it's not about us. It
Mhm.
really is not about us. It's about the people that whose lives you are to touch. No matter how you touch their lives, we don't
Right.
say in a good way, ain't talking about in a bad way now, y'all.
Right.
Don't be putting hands on people talking about that touch their life. Now, but it's about the lives that you are supposed to touch, right?
That's right.
Shante, you were here. You put here to touch the lives of the people that God has put in your life, and that he will put in front of you and that he would have you encounter, whether
Amen.
it
Yeah.
is in your business, whether it's
Mhm.
on the live, whether it's in the grocery store, somehow, but always hearing God's heart, right?
Mhm.
And
That's right.
sharing his heart as you continue to write your story,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
Because we are until the day I die. They say that, there really is no retirement with God,
Mm-mm.
right? There's no
No,
retirement.
we
And
keep going.
I went to a breakfast with my coworkers, and I worked with them over almost 27 years. So we do a breakfast, and they're all in a place of retirement. They all have, I left like I think 17 years ago, but they all have retired, and
Wow.
they're like, girl,
Why are you still
you're
working?
you everywhere. You doing everything. I say, yep, because this is where I'm supposed to be right now, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And yeah, I think about it sometimes like, God, seriously, why I'm in 60s now, so why can't I just but you know what? I gotta roll with him.
You have
You
to
gotta
roll with
roll with
him.
him,
That's right.
right?
That's right. We
You
want him to
gotta
roll
roll
with
with him.
us. So
Huh?
if we want him to keep rolling with us, we definitely have to roll with him.
We have to roll with him. We really do. And whatever way he says, go this way or that way, go down
Mhm.
this path, that path. You get to a place where you're like, okay, God, what's next? Right? When
That's right.
you know that God is saying,
When your
go.
assignment is up. Mhm.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. No, okay, I'm done here. And you have to really be sensitive to that because you don't want to be doing what you're not supposed to be doing,
That's right. Because you can
and
do more damage
and
than good. Yeah.
God is real. He's amazing.
Mhm.
I love God. I love people. I know you do too.
Mhm.
Based on all the roles that you have had in different organizations or companies, and you definitely are a go-getter. You definitely are making your story, her story. And I'm just encouraged that I got to peep a little bit more into your life. As I said, we're family.
Yes.
But I knew that girl ever since I remember when your children were little, we were in church
Yes. Yes.
together.
Mhm.
Um, and then I started seeing you doing stuff. I'm like, and then doing something else and doing it. So I've been looking from afar, even though we're family, but I got a little chance to peep at you and your life and all the things that God has already done and
Mhm.
he's going to continue to do. And keep being you, of course. I know you don't need that encouragement, but
No, I
keep
do
being
need it. Thank
Shantae
you for it.
and
Thank you
keep
for it. That
doing what you're
confirms
supposed
that
to
I'm
be
on the
doing.
right path,
Yeah,
because,
and you and sharing
sometimes
God's
we begin to
heart.
question where we are,
Huh?
Sometimes we begin to question where we are. Let's just
Yeah,
be real.
yeah,
We can
yeah.
question, are we on the right path,
Ex- ex-
because, they get to talking, who they are, they have a lot to say, and we're all very concerned about what they are thinking, what they, whether they think we're qualified, whether they
Yeah,
believe we should be doing the things that we're doing. But I've learned, to ignore they, because nobody can ever define who they is,
I
right?
know. Who are they? We
Yeah.
don't know.
So
Where
we
they
don't
where
care to
they
talk
at
to
in
you
your
anymore.
head?
Exactly, exactly. So, I thank you for the encouragement, because it just confirms for me that I'm doing God's will. And so, that's my heart's desire, because I don't ever know who's watching me, who may see something that might encourage them to make a difference, to make a different decision in their life that could change their lives for the better. I definitely don't want to be a party to causing someone to fall. I don't
Right,
want to do that.
right,
So,
right.
mhm.
And what you just said, and then we're gonna wrap the show up. We try to keep it a half an hour. We're at
All right.
2:04, which is okay. Um, But what you just said about sometimes you're like, okay, you're like, I know who I am in God and I know who I am. But then sometimes you question, like,
You do. You
because
still do.
sometimes things aren't flowing the way you think they're supposed to flow. But
Right.
they're flowing the way,
Right.
they're supposed to flow. But you
Right.
thinking, well, God, am I really supposed to be doing this live?
Right.
Because ain't
Right.
nobody on here but me, stuff like that. Let's keep it real. Like, what?
Yeah.
Ain't got but 3 people.
Yeah.
What? You know what?
He says, do it anyway. And the
If
next
it,
thing you know, here
exactly,
come more people, and here
do
come
it
more people.
anyway because maybe there's those 3 people, 1 people that you're supposed to
Mhm.
be in front of, and if you know that you're supposed to be doing it
That's
right,
right.
then you
That's
keep
right.
doing it. right? Because it's unto, I say, an audience of one. I
That's
say an
right.
audience of one. And so, Shantae, I'm so grateful that you said yes. I'm so grateful that you you're here, that I get to hear a little bit more about you and your heart and what God is doing and what He's already done. And of
Thank
course,
you.
He's not finished with you yet.
Thank you.
But keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing, Shantae, because that's who you are. And I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for the people that join you, girl. You popular. Yeah. You got some love out there. They just jumping on, they love it on you.
And I
See,
love
God
them back.
knows
I
He
love them
just gave
back.
you a shot of love. Like, look at that. Even if this is the only reason He did this, just Shantae, you know what? You're on the right path, daughter. I love you.
I love you
And
back.
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I enjoy you, girl. And look at the love you got. You really
Yes,
have gotten a lot of
yes.
love on
Well,
this.
thank you for this
Yes.
platform and for this opportunity. And, if ever you need me to help out in any way, just let me know.
I
Okay?
will. I definitely will. I will. And hey, let's look at bringing you back at some point. Let's see. We're connected now a little
Mhm.
more or on a
Mhm.
different level. And because I don't think we've ever been. I've watched you afar, of course, and
Yeah.
watched you just go after whatever God had for you and put in front of you. But maybe we can get a chance to connect again on the broadcast. Our sister, our beautiful sister, Mrs. Flodell.
Oh, I know.
Um,
I see her
she,
and I see
she,
her back there.
yeah, she jumped on here, so maybe we can collaborate. If I can get my word out of my mouth, but maybe
Mhm.
we can collaborate and do something together as
Would
God's
love to do
girls,
that.
right?
Would love
God's
to do it.
daughters. And
Absolutely.
but this was great. I'm glad you came on, and so thank you for joining us. And hey, y'all, until next time, it's going to be actually March 15th. Long as nothing don't get on my schedule, I plan to be here March 15th. And again, thank you, Shantae, and thank
Thank
everybody for
you.
joining us. And until next time, we want you to live well, take care of yourself, and God bless.
God
Have a
bless.
good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Oh, I forgot to loop that. Hey, I'm my own producer.